Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how much time you should practice guitar for every day and does it really matter? So this is a really interesting question, and I had this question, when I was just starting to learn the guitar, and definitely in my first 1 year I used to wonder whether I'm practicing enough, or could I be doing more, or why am I not progressing in the way that I want to progress. So before I get into exactly how much time I think is right for everybody, I just want to say that this the answer to this question is solely going to be determined by you at the end of this video. I don't have any one size fits all answer for this kind of a question, and that's simply because whoever you are, you started learning guitar at a certain life stage, right? You could be a student in high school, therefore your day gets over a lot earlier than someone who's been working for 5 years now and has an entire team reporting to them in an office, right? So you're gonna have to set your personal goals of how much you want to practice every day based on where you are in life and what you're doing. And once you figure out who you are and how much free time you actually have, this question does start to sort itself out. Now, that being said, if you're someone who feels like they don't have a lot of time, you don't need to feel demotivated at this point, because most people, when it comes to playing the guitar, most people like to practice for an hour at a stretch, and then they like to take a break. It could be that later in the day they'll pick up the guitar and just noodle with it, or just mess around with for another half an hour. But I'm talking about concentrated practice. That kind of practice, most people, they tap out at 1 hour. um, there are a lot of musicians who play for longer than that, but you need to take into account that those guys are professional or semi-professional musicians. That's all that they do, right? So that being said, the ideal figure for someone who's a beginner, and also, when you're a beginner, you have problems like your fingers are hurting, the skin on your ring finger, or your little finger definitely is going to start peeling off at some point. You're going to be sitting there and removing dead skin. So that's also going to affect how much time you can actually play for. So as a rule of thumb, I would say aim to practice. And when I say practice, I mean concentrated practice. I'll get to what I mean by concentrated practice in a bit, what it consists of. But aim to practice at least half an hour every day, half an hour to an hour probably, and anything in between that is also fine. So now that I've said concentrated practice, what I mean by it is the way I look at it is there's a reward based lick on the guitar or song on the guitar by my favorite guitarist that's just been released, and I want to learn that song. Now that's the last thing that I'm going to do after my half an hour or 40 minutes of concentrated practice, right? Because what I want to learn is normally going to be a face melting guitar solo by Slash, or some new technique. Like, I've been trying to learn sweep picking for the better part of a decade now, and I still haven't got it. So every now and then I do try to learn that, and I, more often than not, I end up getting frustrated, and I leave it. But at the same time, I've become fairly proficient in the technique of legato, because that's something I always start off practicing with. Why? Because a lot of my influences, in terms of other guitarists, they use that technique. Slash from Guns N' Roses is a legato fiend. He is a legend when it comes to the legato technique. And because I have practiced how to play like Slash day in and day out, and I've done all my exercises that lead me up to learning the techniques that he's sort of pocketed and made unique to himself. I now have a technique that I love to play. And now that I've learned it, I don't it's not one of those things that I'm gonna play and get frustrated with and want to put my guitar down. The thing that makes me want to do that is the reward based new guitar solo or new technique that I want to learn. Something that frustrates me to the extent where I just put it down. But when I put my guitar down, it's after 45 minutes of concentrated, proper practice that's adding to my repertoire of skills. Now, how I like to divide that half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, is I do 10 to 15 minutes of just finger exercises. And I mean the really boring, fretting one fret on each finger, four frets in a row on one string, four frets in a row on the next string, and the next string, and the next string, all the way to the bottom, and then I play that backwards. All right, and then I play variations of this, where I play the first fret, the second fret, I go back to the first fret. Then I play the second fret, the third fret, I go back to the second fret. And like this, it's a pattern that snakes on and on and on and on till the end. And then I play that backwards. Then what I do is I play the first fret of the topmost string and the second fret of the fifth string, or the second topmost string, and then the third fret of the D string, and then the fourth fret of the G string. And then I'll play the first fret of the G string, the second fret of the D string, the third fret of the A string, and the fourth fret of the top string on the sixth string. And I'll just play that moving forward one fret at a time until I run out of frets. And I do these exercises, each of these three exercises that I've mentioned to you. These are the ones I can explain to you without actually having a guitar. Because I didn't keep a guitar because I felt like this is one of those videos where you need to hear the solution in words as a layman, rather than just see a guy tell you to do this exercise, do that exercise, do this exercise. So I wanted this video to be more of a confrontation basically between us, or a conversation, not a confrontation. So yeah, that's what I do for the first 10 minutes, just those nitty gritty annoying finger exercises. And why I like to do it first is because that's when I'm freshest. That's when I'm the most dedicated. That's when I'm the most motivated. I haven't screwed up too many times. I'm not going to get frustrated very easily, even though it's an annoying exercise. I do that for the first 10 to 15 minutes every single day, and I get it out of the way, and then I don't have to think about it. After that, what I like to do is I like to start playing stuff that requires me to use my fingers and not a pick, because I realized about, I'd say in 2013 and 14, that if you took a pick away from me, I couldn't play anything. And I could play basic chords and stuff like that, but I was a really good guitarist who understood the fretboard, who understood how to move up and down the neck, but I couldn't do it without pick. So I found that really frustrating. So since then till now, I'd say I've become, I'm quite happy with my progress in fingerstyle playing. And not even the traditional fingerstyle country sound that guitarists like Chet Atkins or Tommy Emmanuel play like, but just the ability to get a groove going and keep it running with my fingers, rather than being completely dependable on a pick to keep a guitar solo going or to keep a melody going. So that's something that I also do. I've developed some rhythmic patterns that I've copied from John Mayer. I've copied from Tommy Emmanuel himself, from Chet Atkins, and I've sort of mix mashed them all into little fingerstyle riffs and licks that I like to run up and down the board. So more often than not, I will play those licks over a backing track in a certain scale. And why the backing track helps is because I understand that playing with a metronome, just those four counts, as efficient as it is, it can get really monotonous. And especially if you're a beginner who's just started playing guitar solos or something like that, it's really hard, to play with a metronome when you want to hear what your solo sounds like with the rest of the band or with a backing track. So that's why I like to play with backing tracks. I like to explore those fingerstyle roots with a backing track. And then once I'm done with the fingerstyle roots, I'll switch over to just playing with a pick and going wild. And once I'm done with that, constructively figuring out new ideas that I can use in a guitar solo that's based on a certain set of chords. So it's not just that I'm jamming out or noodling on the guitar and just trying to play as fast as I can. I'm playing to a tempo, I'm playing to chord changes, I'm keeping in mind multiple scales. I could be thinking of the straight pentatonic, I could be thinking of the pentatonic blues scale, I could be thinking of the natural minor scale, I could be thinking of the harmonic minor scale, I could be thinking of modes of these positions on the fretboard, how to move up and down, how to link high notes to low notes, how to play slowly, how to play fast. So all of these things are happening simultaneously, and it's sort of like playing a guitar solo is becoming muscle memory with reference to time signatures, to chord changes, to scales. And I think that's really helped me in my ability to just get together with a bunch of guys who are playing something, and all I have to do is look at the guy who's playing chords, or look at the bass guitarist and figure out what scale these boys are jamming in, and just jump in with them. And it's also given me an understanding of how to adjust to different percussive elements. For example, I love jamming out to reggae beats. It's something I don't do very often, but when I do it, it just sits easy. I just really like doing it. I love jamming out to hard rock beats. I love jamming out to blues, slow swinging beats. I really like that. And I think it really helps you round out your sound as a guitarist. So that's my second part of what I do, how I go about my concentrated practice. And the last part of it is, if there's any time, then it's basically playing that new thing that I thought was so cool that I just had to try it. Currently, I'm trying to learn a slash style descending lick, and I would say it's extremely frustrating because sometimes I can play the whole thing, and sometimes I mess up after 3 notes or 4 notes, and I tend to get really frustrated at that point because I still haven't figured out why I can play the whole thing sometimes, but like I'll try it again after that. Like the next second, I'll try to play it on repeat, and I'll mess up the first 4 notes. And I realized that a lot of it has to do with muscle memory. A lot of it has to do with changing from one string to another, which means that I'm gonna have to lead from, say, the second string. If I'm leading with my third finger on the third string while changing and going back up the fretboard, I'm gonna have to lead with my pinky finger. That basically means the first note I'm going to play on a new string is with my pinky finger. And I'm not used to doing it backwards. I'm not used to doing it at the pace. I'm not used to doing it in that scale, and I'm not used to doing it, in a completely frenzied manner of learning something new. So I've identified those problems, but at the same time, now where the frustration sets in is that I've identified the problems, but I still can't get over it. And everyone's going to go through that. Every guitarist has probably felt that at some stage. I'm describing a complex lick by Slash. For you guys, it could be just learning your next song, and you could be looking at it, and you may understand music to the extent to know that this song only has 3 chords, this song only has 4 chords, and you're just it's fathomable to you that you can't play something that just has 4 elements to it. And I think the only solution to this is to keep doing it again and again and again. And that's why it's important to not just learn songs, or not just learn that new cool lick that you want to learn, or not just learn your favorite guitarist's newest album. It's important to play the exercises, because the exercises give you a sense of familiarity, they give you a sense of muscle memory, and those two things coupled with each other over, say, 6 months, or even 3 months, it depends on what you're learning, but coupled over a considerable amount of time, those two things are going to give you the solution to what you can't do right now. And lastly, I would say try to figure out what your goals are. For example, if you've been playing guitar now, say for 4 months or 5 months maybe. All right, you're learning chords, you're strumming out chords, you know some of the changes, you know some songs, but you can't play this new song that you really want to learn because it has a bar chord in it. That is a problem, and it's one of a million problems that any guitarist could have based on what they want to learn. So what you should do at this point is definitely check out some videos on bar chords. I have some of them that I link periodically in this video now that I've started talking about it. Check out bar chords, figure out what the ins and outs of a bar chord are first. Alright? So that becomes your first 10 minutes. just holding a bar chord. It's hurting your index finger while you're pinning down all the strings. Doesn't matter. That's the annoying first 10 minutes of your life where you're just going to play bar chords. You're going to play it on the first fret, then you're going to play it on the third fret, the fifth fret, you're going to play it on the second fret. You're going to play it starting from the sixth string on the topmost string, then you're going to play it starting from the fifth string. You're going to play major bar chords, you're going to play minor bar chords. And that's the first 10 minutes. Then after that, what you can do is go back to a song that doesn't have any bar chords in it. All right, and I really want you to then focus on what your right hand does while you're changing chords, and you'll notice while you're changing chords, there's certain fingers that move first. If you're changing from a G chord to a C chord, then you know that it's either going to be your ring finger that moves first and your little finger that settles. And what you want to do then is focus on not thinking of one finger at a time, but thinking of the shape of the chord and what those frets are and putting them down together. So that becomes your slightly more relaxed, something you already know section of practice, your second section. And then your third section could be the new song that you're trying to play with, the bar chord. And more often than not, you're going to get frustrated because of all the practice that you just put in and still not being able to do it after 5-10 minutes of repetitive efforts. But that's the point. When you compound 40 minutes on Monday, 40 minutes on Tuesday, 40 minutes on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you repeat this process upon itself, say 5 or 6 times, you're bound to do something correct. If you can't play the whole song correctly, you're going to be able to play up till the first chorus correctly. All right, then you're going to have to approach the chorus. Maybe the chorus has a different set of chords in it, and then you're going to have to start this process for the chorus. So what I'm trying to say is set doable small milestones and goals for yourself, and that's how you should practice every single day. And how much time you should spend is pretty much self-explanatory. I just gave you the whole breakup of why it needs to be 30 to 45 minutes. And that being said, I hope you like this new type of video where I didn't really play anything and zonk you guys out with some irritating techniques or complex strategies on the guitar, but I just spoke to you and I could give you my honest opinion on a very human-centric question that anyone learning the guitar is going to ask. And I hope that I've provided you with something that makes sense. And thank you so much for your time. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, smash the like button. And if you're new to my channel and this is the first video that you've seen, please subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more content like this and hopefully answer more questions for you. And until next time, I will see you.